Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the pulse-pounding, truth-seeking epicenter of entertainment news. I'm your guide through the glittering, grimy, and often utterly baffling world of pop culture. And today, we're diving headfirst into a controversy that has been rumbling in the digital plains for generations. Forget climate change. Forget geopolitical tensions. The real question is, when will the people of the Pokémon world finally open their mouths and speak? Yes, we are talking about the glaring, the deafening, the absolutely bewildering lack of voice acting in the mainline Pokémon games. A narrative chasm that has followed the franchise like a shadow since the very first 3D entry. Now, with the horizon of the much-anticipated Pokémon Generation 10 looming, the whispers, the pleas, and the outright demands from fans have reached a fever pitch. A recent deep dive into the topic has sparked a wildfire of discussion, and trust me, you are going to want to hear every syllable of this breakdown. For decades, we've accepted the silence. We've normalized the bizarre sight of highly cinematic, emotionally charged cutscenes where a character's lips are moving, their face is contorted in drama, a majestic score is swelling, and all you hear is the low-fidelity blip-blip of text scrolling across a box. It's an anachronism, a digital relic in a world of high-definition graphics and immersive storytelling. It's like watching a blockbuster movie from the 1930s, except, it's 2025. Think about the latest entries, games like Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, and the upcoming Pokémon Legends. These are sprawling, open-world adventures with incredibly deep lore and richly designed characters. Yet, when the pivotal moments arrive, the epic confrontation with a rival, the heart-to-heart with a professor, the dramatic revelation that changes the world forever, we are reduced to reading. We are sitting there, mashing the A button, forcing the text to scroll faster to keep up with the emotional beat that the scene is trying to convey. It breaks the immersion. It pulls you right out of Paldea and drops you back onto your couch, staring at a screen. The argument against voice acting is, frankly, thinner than a Sneasel's shadow. Some hardcore purists cling to the nostalgia of the silent era, claiming that reading the text allows them to insert their own voices, their own emotional interpretations. It's the theater of the mind argument, and while that's a romantic notion for a text-based RPG from the 90s, the Pokémon franchise is now a multi-billion-dollar, high-budget, 3D juggernaut. It's time to move past the idea that we, the players, should be doing the voice work for characters whose models have been motion captured and rendered in exquisite detail. The real-world examples of this failure to launch are numerous and, honestly, a little embarrassing. Remember Iono, the electric-type gym leader from Scarlet and Violet? Her entire persona is that of a bubbly, flamboyant streamer. The pre-release trailers, for a brief, glorious moment, had voice acting. They were vibrant, full of energy, and perfectly captured her character. Then, you get into the actual game, and she's a mute mannequin of text boxes. The contrast is jarring. It's like ordering a gourmet, 5-star meal and being served a lukewarm bowl of instant ramen. The potential was there, but the execution was intentionally stunted. And what about the sheer narrative weight that is lost? In Legends, Arceus, the story is arguably the most mature and compelling the series has ever presented. Yet, when the ancient people of Hisui were revealing the secrets of the world, when characters were wrestling with existential dread and the very nature of their reality, all we got were more text boxes. Imagine the sheer impact of hearing a talented voice actor deliver a line like, "The world is crumbling and the gods themselves are indifferent," versus reading it in a font that looks like it belongs on a tax form. It's the difference between an experience and a chore. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, cost and localization. This is the go-to defense for the company, the claim that fully voicing every single line of dialogue in a massive RPG across dozens of languages is a logistical and financial nightmare. We're talking about an astronomical number of words multiplied by Japanese, English, French, German, Spanish, Italian, Korean, and Chinese localization. It's a valid point for an indie developer struggling to make ends meet. But this is Pokémon,
right there.
the highest grossing media franchise in the world. With a net worth that makes the GDP of small nations look like pocket change, they can afford it. They can hire the voice talent. They can coordinate the localization. This is not a question of capability. It is a question of will. Furthermore, they don't even need to voice every random NPC who says, "My shorts are comfy." No, The solution is elegant and already proven in other RPGs. Focus on the main story and the key characters. Give the gym leaders, the Elite Four, the champions, the professors, the main rivals, and the villains the voiceover treatment they deserve. That would cover 80% of the cinematic, emotional moments, and let the background characters keep their text bubbles. It's a compromise that satisfies both the purists and the modern gamers craving immersion. Some fans have suggested that the unique challenge lies in the Japanese script, which is often dense with cultural nuances that are difficult to translate while maintaining lip-syncing integrity. But, honestly, this is just a technical hurdle that modern video game development has long since solved. Games with far more complex narratives and a global release schedule, like Final Fantasy or The Legend of Zelda, manage this seamlessly. They're telling full, spoken stories, and they are doing it with aplomb. Why should Pokémon, the granddaddy of them all, be stuck in the dark ages? The community's desire is not just about making the games better in a superficial way. It's about allowing the franchise to mature. The stories are growing more complex, the themes are getting heavier, and the emotional stakes are higher. But when the delivery mechanism is still a scrolling text box, it creates an infantilizing disconnect. It prevents the games from achieving the true narrative maturity that their own writing often suggests they are striving for. Imagine Gen 10. Imagine a whole new region, a whole new cast of heroes and villains. But this time, when the champion steps forward to face you in the final, dramatic battle, you don't just read their challenge. You hear the pride, the determination, the crackle of excitement in their voice. When the villain unveils their master plan, you don't just scroll past their monologue. You feel the chilling conviction of their warped ideology. That, my friends, is not just an upgrade, it's an evolution. The lack of voice acting is arguably the single biggest technical and narrative flaw in the modern Pokémon games. It's a self-imposed restraint, a creative handcuff that the Pokémon Company and Game Freak have chosen to wear. It makes the games feel cheaper, less polished, and fundamentally incomplete when compared to their contemporaries. The time for excuses is over. The time for half measures has passed. The double-digit generation, Pokémon Generation 10, is not just another game, it's a milestone. It's the perfect, unmissable opportunity for the franchise to finally step into the modern era of storytelling. If they miss this chance, if they serve up another visually stunning world filled with mute, blinking avatars, then it will send a clear, disappointing message to the millions of dedicated fans that for all its global dominance, the mainline Pokémon game experience is content to remain a beautiful, silent picture show. The pressure is mounting. The argument is undeniable. The fans are ready, and we, here on the podcast, will be watching, waiting, and hoping that in the biggest, most influential gaming franchise on the planet, we finally get to hear our heroes and villains speak, because the silence, ladies and gentlemen, has become absolutely deafening. And on that explosive note, we're going to wrap up today's deep dive. Thank you for joining me for this dose of hard-hitting entertainment reality. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Gen 10 will finally break the silence? Let us know. Until next time, keep your controllers charged and your expectations, well, keep them high. You deserve it. Ciao for now.